Hello and welcome to another episode of the Gravity Cancel podcast. I am Rox, and with me as always, Sergeant Smakex. How you doing today, man?
Doing pretty good. Feeling rusty, man. It's been a hot minute. What has it been, like a month?
Every single time that we compete in Brawlhalla, we're the O2 crew, and then we take a little bit of a sabbatical. We'll put it
our 2v2 was rough. You had to kind of rough go in 1v1. This was for fall championship, by the way. And my 1v1 went pretty well. I did have like 2 forfeits, unfortunately, but I felt like I performed well. I was happy with my performance, let's put it that way.
Well, that makes one of us.
Yeah, it was. It feels like anytime we compete in the summer championship, fall championship, whatever, we just don't play well. I don't know what it is.
I don't know. At least for me, it's not tournament nerves. It's just
just
too early in the day. I'm a night gamer.
Yeah. I have to force myself to like wake up pretty early, so by the time tournament gets around, I'm ready to go. And then a little bit of liquid courage in the form of a Voodoo Ranger helps too. Not sponsored.
Oh, true. Not sponsored. Hashtag not Ned.
Hey, speaking of tournaments, we hosted our first tournament, about 3 weeks ago now. Halloween Havoc 1. That implies that we're going to have another one next year, but...
Exactly. We might have to workshop the name.
Yeah. There was apparently an after party, a Halloween Havoc after party with a slightly larger prize pool. Not much, but a slightly larger prize pool.
Slightly larger.
Like 3 times the amount.
Yeah, for those who don't know, Moose Wars also did a Halloween tournament called Halloween Havoc. Now they posted theirs like
it was like 2 weeks before.
No, I think it was less than a week before, but they had obviously had it planned with BMG,
so they couldn't announce anything.
Yeah. So we just happened to steal their name.
Yeah, but we did have a pretty good turnout.
Yoinked it.
We ended up having 23 players, 24 players.
Yeah. We had close to 60 sign up. Not everybody showed up though.
Yeah, you guys got to show up next time. There was a good prize pool, but the less people that show up, the better the chance of winning. And we had Zexus taking number 1 spot. An absolute monstrous showing by Zexus, 6-0. Didn't drop a set.
I actually just saw that they tweeted right before we started recording that they are the oldest BCX participant.
Wait, really?
Yep, he's looking for his. Oh gosh, I've already ruined the joke. He said something like senior pay. I've ruined it. I've ruined the joke.
Oldest as in like age-wise or player? Like he's been playing the longest.
Oh, age-wise. Age-wise, yeah.
He's looking for his I don't know that's how that works, but keep going for it, Zexus. We had Toast for Prez coming in second, and Shadow OQ12 coming in third place. I was very pleased with the participants we had. Everyone was super chill. Absolute homies too.
There's so many homie stocks were given.
Spyfar the Great, his opponent disconnected. Their opponent disconnected one time and just dropped the match. Could have easily taken the DQ, but dropped the match and then ended up getting knocked out of bracket during that match when they did the rematch. But hey, they wanted to learn. They wanted to lose fair and square, and that's admirable.
Yep, homie stocks all the way, boys.
So look forward to our next one. We don't quite have it planned yet. I think it probably won't be till after the new year. We definitely need some work on our end. Had a little bit of some bumps in the road with registration and the little setup, but
nothing too bad though.
No,
we didn't have any disputes. Nobody being jerks to each other,
which I was happy about because, man, I was not paying attention half the time, and then I was like, I thought for sure I was going to come back, and 20 minutes before that, someone would have filed a dispute and just rage quit the tournament.
Yeah, and one thing that I wasn't going to spring it on you on the podcast. I was going to bring it up before, but kind of curious on how the community would view Like, I mean, there's a lot of tournaments that are held for Brawlhalla. There's a lot of circuits, so to speak. How would people feel about a unique circuit, the Gravity Cancel circuit, having something like a rotating ban list on legends or maps? You know, throw a couple, free-for-all maps in the 1v1 just for the heck of it. You know, maybe have like a community-driven vote each, like, quote-unquote season to ban certain legends. Just keeping it fresh, so that way you can kind of control the meta a little bit.
So we'll talk about that after. I don't like the idea of banning legends unless there's a reason, and I don't foresee a reason for that.
You heard it here first, folks. He hates the idea, and that's a no. That's the last time we'll ever speak of it again.
I do like the idea of something unique for our circuit. So I think something like crew battles would be an excellent idea. I like the idea of maybe not as part of like a circuit, but a one-off tournament of like a Wheel of Fortune style where we put a bunch of game modes on a wheel and each round is randomized.
All right.
So something like that. Obviously, you'd get some weird ones like, Brawl Ball or a Kung Foot or something like that, and be kind of weird at 1v1. But I think it could be a cool idea.
I think so too. But unfortunately, with taking about a month off with podcasts, we
should
have
move
a
on.
lot to cover, so we need to move on.
Well, speaking of Halloween, Brawlhalloween just wrapped up. Don't want to spend too much time since you can't buy anything now if you missed out. But Rox, what did you end up buying?
Actually, oh, that's right. Finally, after passing it up for 2 years, I passed it up. I finally got the Halloween Petra skin.
I'm so happy for you. That rounds out your Petra collection.
It does. It's beautiful. It's the most beautiful thing I've ever laid my eyes on.
I got a little.
Other than that, just bought a couple colors.
Yeah, I finished off some of the colors that I missed out on last year, and then the new legends that obviously I couldn't buy them last year because they weren't out. I ended up buying. Man, I went hard on the skins this year. I bought the Dusk one. I bought Lucian, Yumiko, and Rayman. Which I was just like so happy that Rayman got a skin and it was a decent skin. So I was like, I have to buy it. I will regret not buying it.
Yeah, I feel like you bought it out of spite because I wouldn't buy it.
That's kind of it. I'm like, if this Axe Gauntlet main won't buy it, I'm gonna buy it so that 3 months down the road when you discover that you actually like Rayman and you're like, I wish I had that Rayman skin, and then you pass it up for another 3 years. Other than that, all the returning skins from the previous Brawlhalloweens, plus Demon Rider Artemis, what are your thoughts on that?
I like it. I haven't looked to see how well it takes colors, which I'll look at here in just a second. It doesn't really scream Halloween to me. It's
doesn't.
Cool, but
it's a really cool skin, and it really doesn't go with any other event. I feel like it would have almost been a better just like, hey, we're releasing this skin, and you can get it anytime you want now.
Or if there was like a Barraza themed Mad Max style battle pass, because it kind of has that like apocalyptic biker look to it.
Yeah, I get that. It takes colors pretty well, if I'm not mistaken. Way better than the stock colors. The stock colors are among the worst I think I've seen on a skin.
I don't know about that one. I like the base colors a lot. I like that color palette, like the orange and the brown kind of duster look.
It doesn't scream Halloween to me, compared to their other ones.
Gosh. Which reminds me, I saw, this is a little off topic, one of the coolest uses of a base color, not base for the character, but like the blue, red, yellow, green, purple colors. Right. Someone was using the Atlantean Ada with the yellow color scheme, and it just looks so cool in game.
I'm gonna have to take a look at that. Which pro is it? Is it Sandstorm that's rocking the base colors in like the tournaments and stuff?
I don't know off the top of my head.
He's kind of like he's kind of pioneered like screw your really cool colors. We're just gonna use base ones. You said yellow with Atlantean.
Yep.
That's pretty good. That's
for a base color.
Yeah, I like it with the skin tone and like the oranges and the yellows. Yeah, it's good.
So I'm really not liking how you're in a good mood right now. So let's go and talk about patch 6.0.
Oh no. All right. Well, let's start with a big one. Munin released in patch 6.0. People have had quite a bit of time to play with her by now. Scythe and bow legend with a really cool aesthetic and a really horrible weapon combination. At least for you and I.
Yeah, for us.
Everyone else seemed to really love it.
I don't know. I am kind of a bow main now.
Yeah, but we didn't need another Scythe legend. We just did not need another Scythe legend.
Hard agree on that. I've not ran into an overwhelming amount of Moonins though.
And the ones that I have ran into haven't been good.
Yeah.
You know, like, if I run into Mirage or Volkov, I know I'm probably in for a pretty rough time. But Moonins just, like, most of them that I've fought have been pretty spammy. Which her SIGs are pretty strong. I will give her that.
Oh, the signatures are... oh my gosh, they're so good, especially on the bow. Now, the thing that does bug me is, I guess it's a bug. I've not heard anybody talk about it. But, like, whenever you go to select Munin, it's this same yellow bow that... if I'm not mistaken, isn't even in the game.
Yeah, it has something to do with because like in the animation, I think the lock-in animation, the scythe and the bow are like the same thing or something. I don't know. I really could care less.
The thing that I do like about Munin coming out is it's not something like when Jae-yoon came out. Oh my goodness. That's all you ran into. Great Sword was so busted, which of course it was, adding a new weapon to the game. But with Munin, it's like, all right, they're a really good bow player, or they're a really good scythe player, or they're just a bad player, or just a decent player, whatever. But I don't care who you are. If you rolled up with Magyar, you're getting dunked on, because Magyar is absolute dog water. And Reno is really not much better. Like, you can pull off Reno, but, like, I've never ran into a Reno and been like, oh, gosh, I am terrified, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah, I've only ran into one that was, like, as good as my Reno, and my Reno's not great by any means. That's not to say they're not out there. They're absolutely out there, but at the rink we're playing, you don't encounter good blaster players very often.
Yeah, and I would rather a legend come out being underwhelming and then buffed than to be overpowering and then have to be buffed.
Absolutely. Especially when you introduce a new weapon, such a dynamic weapon like Greatsword was. But yeah, Moonin, it was, the hype died very quick. I think everyone was really antsy for a new legend, and I'm kind of surprised that people just let it die off that quick. There's not even that much fan art for her now that she came out.
I know, and she's one of the coolest looking designs and has some of the coolest skins right out the gate.
So another thing they introduced in patch 6.0, which I don't have the slightest clue why, was easy anti-cheat.
See, I didn't really know there were cheats available for Brawlhalla.
So obviously you have like aesthetic mods, which I don't think the developers have ever had an issue with.
I don't think so either.
Then you have, I think there's like a jump mod that doesn't change how you jump, but it
changes the colors.
Yeah,
so you know how many jumps you have left.
Yeah, and how many your opponent has left.
I want to say somebody just got banned for using that in tournament. They've always said that you cannot use that in tournament.
Right, but then the other weird one is Special K, which they've kind of been like okay about.
What is that?
So it's a mod that, if I'm not mistaken, it reduces input lag, which gives not an advantage, but it allows people with a 60 hertz monitor to play on the same playing field as a 144 plus hertz monitor, because for whatever reason this engine has higher input delay at 60 hertz, which makes 0 sense. So it basically reduced the input lag and made it more playable for more people. I actually went out and bought, because I had two 60 hertz monitors, because I just play fighting games, so all you need is 60 frames a second.
Yeah.
And then when I upgraded to 144 hertz, the difference was astounding. So I can definitely see how people would have used Special K to level the playing field.
I gotcha.
But other than that, and that's what's weird about it, is because it seemed like it was to counter that. It seems like you would want to roll out anti-cheat at the same time as fixing the input lag, and then that would have made perfect sense. But rolling it out by itself, they have an allowance in the Steam code you can do like -no EAC, and it turns off the anti-cheat, but you can't play ranked then.
Okay.
So if you do have issues with the anti-cheat, you can do that. The only thing I've noticed is, and you may have noticed it as well, there's significantly more stutters when you're playing the game. Not rollback, like the game will physically stutter.
I've not been playing a whole lot lately. I'm sure
You'll notice
sure
it. You'll notice it now that I mentioned it. It wasn't super obvious. It felt like just a small rollback, but there's a distinct difference to it.
So this next addition to the game, you have a pretty hot take with, and I love it.
I don't know if it's a hot take because a lot of others share the sentiment, but replacing...
We got emojis. Now hold on. We're not talking about what it replaced.
It's
We're
the
just
same
talking
thing.
about it itself.
They're one in the same. Emojis are okay.
The emojis are amazing. I'm right now sitting in a lobby by myself, spamming the big brain Vrax emote. It's so good. The core thumbs down, love it. Every time I beat somebody with Azoth, I'm hitting them with that RIP laughing Azoth. Love it.
So,
for the unfortunate part, though, we did lose quite a beautiful thing.
Post-game chat. So, I think this is why I haven't been playing Brawlhalla very much, to be quite honest. Post-game chat has been pseudo-removed. So, if you want, you can still chat with your opponent, but it just doesn't show up on the post-game screen. So if you, the little chat box is gone, but if you type enter and then type something and hit enter, it'll show up in their lobby when you back out.
I gotcha.
So all they did was remove the appearance of chat, and I understand it and I don't. And they said it was kind of because, well, it's PC only, so the other platforms really don't have an option to chat. Okay, sure, whatever. But there's plenty of games with that the PC version has chat function and the others don't.
Yeah, like Destiny 2, for example.
Right.
Because they just released crossplay, and it's really annoying whenever your teammates are doing something real stupid, and you try to type in the chat, "Hey, stupid, quit doing that stupid thing, you stupid idiot," and then they can't see it because they don't have chat. And then I check my game roster, and I'm like, oh, these guys are on console. Great.
So, speaking of calling people stupid, that was the other excuse they gave, is the toxicity associated with chat. So, the emojis, I think were... I have
are
one
a
of
little
two.
bit more toxic.
They are more toxic. I would agree with that.
The way I use them, anyway.
They're more toxic, and it presents an opportunity for BMG to monetize it, which I'm cool with.
Ooh, yeah, emoji packs.
Yeah, so I think that's definitely down the road. But you did not need to remove chat in order to introduce emojis. There's no reason for those two to be exclusive.
I mean, just imagine someone talks crap to you in post-game chat, and you just keep spamming them with emojis. Like, you're still in the lobby, you're not leaving, and you're not chatting. You're just, every time he says something, you just hit him with the Azoth emoji.
And they know you're on PC, and so you have the ability to chat, but you just don't.
Yeah.
You just keep emoting. No, I've been a proponent of it, a pretty vocal proponent of it on the Reddit, and I really wish instead of removing it, they would have just allowed it to be opt-in. So it's off by default, and then you can choose to opt in and have post-game chat.
Therefore, so I don't really like that idea, and I'll give you the perfect example. So, Destiny 2 is pretty much an MMO, but it's a first-person shooter. It's a shooter-looter game.
Yeah.
Very Borderlands-esque in a way, I guess. I don't remember you ever asking if I wanted to play with you, but we'll save that for after the podcast. But anyway, the voice chat. So, like, you know how you'd get in a Call of Duty lobby? Even still, you go boot up the newest Call of Duty game, half the people have mics.
Right.
And they're turned on. Well, Destiny 2, the in-game voice chat is default off. So because of that, whenever you do want to use it, you have to, like, if you want to do a raid and somebody's got a friend who's on Xbox, you know, they can't, Xbox doesn't have Discord for whatever reason, so you have to use in-game voice chat. Well, the thing is, where it's automatically opted off, nobody uses it. You will never boot up a PvP match. I have never, and I've got 1,500 hours in Destiny 2, never, ever once heard somebody have their mic on in a PvP match. A 6v6, you know, you need call-outs, you know, their Cap A, their Cap B, whatever. Nobody, not at all, ever turns their voice chat on.
Well, that's the distinct difference, though, is that's a team game, and it benefits you to have that active.
And people still don't turn it on, is what I'm saying. Versus,
right. People would turn it on in this, though, because people want to talk crap.
I guess.
And if they don't turn it on, then you're at no disadvantage. Like, because there's plenty of times where I would, you know, compliment someone on something and they wouldn't respond back. They would just leave, right? Or you don't realize they're not on PC and you try to chat with them and you get no response because they can't see it.
I just wish it was back, but you could opt out of it. You just turn it off instead of it automatically being opted out.
Yeah, I think
that person with the Atlantean skin, I wanted to be like, that color looks so good on that skin, but I couldn't.
I think the difference is it needs to be it needs to be consensual trash talk. You know, you can't make it so that people have to choose not to be involved in the toxicity, if you will.
I mean, if there was like if they had the support and the resources to have a working report system where everything gets reviewed by a person and people knew that if they get a little too toxic or say something they definitely shouldn't have,
right,
that they might have privileges taken away or a week ban or something like that.
Yeah, no, and that's why, like, I think the opt-in is probably the best route. Mm-hmm. You're choosing to be involved in that, and as such, you really shouldn't have the ability to report someone for, you know, anything they say because you consented to it. The other thing they added as a result of that, which I think is it's just like the cherry on top of poor decision making. They added the rematch function, or not rematch, the invite to lobby function, right? So people have wanted a rematch function for a while. So they gave the option to invite to lobby, and now you can chat if you join their lobby or they join your lobby. Well, now it's like you don't know what they're inviting you for, right? So you think you just had a really good game. You're like, oh, well, we're going to spar a bit. We're going to play a couple matches. No, they just want to trash talk you and then leave. So it's like...
I'm not ran into that. I really don't run into toxic players.
Yeah, I didn't too often either. Sometimes, but never to the point of like, well, that was a horrible experience. But, you know, I've been in the fighting game community for a while, so I'm used to trash people. But yeah, it's like you add emojis, which is a cool thing, but you take away chat, which I guess it benefits some subpopulation. And you're like, but we gave you the option to still chat by adding a invite to lobby feature. And it's like poor decision making all around. It took the social aspect of this game from like, it was never super social for me, but it was social enough, and I had some fun interactions. I met some fun people in post-game chat, and now it's like I'm not going to take time out of my queue time just to go to some lobby and maybe play with them.
Yeah, I do agree on that point. I still feel like a report system would be nice, but the thing is,
you gotta have resources.
You gotta have resources for it, and not necessarily a small team, 40, 50 people, I believe is how many Slosh said they have.
Right.
In our last podcast. They already pump out so much content for this game. I mean, Brawlhalloween was a little late compared to like other game like Halloween events, but they just had, Munins release. They wanted that out first, hype that up. And then as soon as the Brawlhalloween event's done, boom, anniversary event. Boom, one of the best Hattori skins in the game. Boom! One of the coolest freaking gauntlet skins for core. Oh, gosh.
Yeah, it is.
I love this game.
One of my favorite events.
Gosh, I love the devs.
I love them, except for the choices they make with the social aspects of the game. So anniversary event is in full swing right now. We've probably got another 2 weeks or so. As you had mentioned, Hattori got a new skin, Core got a new skin, Gala colors are back out, which are one of the best colors for an event. And Core skin is really good. The gauntlets are really cool. It does not take colors well though.
Listen, I love me a lady in a suit. And this Hattori skin, just all cylinders, goes so hard.
She looks like the wait staff at a fancy restaurant. Come on, man.
Yeah, listen. I've been trying to get my girl to pick up a job at Olive Garden. So every time she comes home from work, she got a tie on.
So every time she comes home from work, she smells like breadsticks.
Oh yeah, oof, Olive Garden breadsticks. You know what? We talking breadsticks here? I think Fazoli's breadsticks are slept on. They're so good. The rest of their food is dog water, but
breadsticks are hit and miss at restaurants.
Yeah, like if it's just bread, and I go, like, this is gonna sound like a brag, but I'm a foodie. You're a foodie. We like to. Some people spend $200 on a anime figure that they set on a shelf. That's cool. Some people like to spend some of their hobby money going to nice restaurants. The thing that drives me the craziest is whenever I go to like a nicer sit-down restaurant and they give me this bread that's just this dry, hard as a brick bread with like refrigerator, not even room temp butter. You can't even spread it.
Oh man, ugh. That's the worst. The bread's not warm enough to melt the butter either.
Oh my
and
gosh.
And it's not like like a garlic butter or like it's not like got truffle on it or something like that. It's just plain
like
Betty Crocker
bread.
Betty Crocker butter spread is what it is.
There we go. There's my first curse word. We took 16 episodes and all we had to talk about was bread.
Well, speaking of bread, someone's about to get this bread because BCX is in full swing. Fat prize pool as always. And
that was a nice segue. I like that segue a lot.
And some really cool rewards this year. Really cool rewards. That throne emote, prime.
Ooh. You know what I noticed about
Go ahead.
The throne emote is whenever you throw it out, like if you gravity cancel and throw it out, it
it drops.
You in the emote drops.
There's a couple of those.
See, being a Destiny player, I was like, how can this be abused?
Yeah, exactly. No, I've been looking for that. I've been looking for the taunt with the highest recovery. And I think you could totally cheese someone out if they're trying to gimp you. You may kill yourself with it, but if you're just if they're out of jumps and you need to delay, I think you could delay enough with that.
It's possible. We'll have to do some testing.
There's someone posted it on the Reddit a couple weeks ago before the throne emote was out. There were 2 or 3 other ones that you'd get the gravity cancel platform, and then after the platform disappeared, you drop a couple of feet or whatever unit of measurement they use in probably metric system, but probably a couple meters. You drop a couple meters and then you finish the taunt. I can't remember what taunts they were though. Anywho, yeah,
Anywho.
so we got the throne emote. They're finishing off the Regal Sun weapon set. Esports V2 on all tracks, and the Barraza Metadev skin, which is probably the best Metadev skin they've dropped.
I'm so excited. Oh, it looks so good.
Metadev skins... Go ahead.
Can you view it in game under the image render tool?
Maybe, probably. I would imagine, since it's probably coming out like next week. You're gonna hear a lot of clicking, everyone. Yeah, you can. Oh, it takes colors so well.
Oh, bro, even the classic colors look so good on it.
Look at Gala, man.
Ooh.
This is by far the best Metadev skin. I love how the Metadev skins are. They're like the Super Saiyan versions of skins. Like, they're just like, you recognize it as Barraza. That like, not much has changed, but it's so much cooler than the base skin.
That's like the cool thing about Metadev skins. Like, that's kind of their whole point, that people don't like, I see people complain about, like, I think it was when Fate's Metadev came out, they were like, it's literally just the base Fate skin, and I'm just like, yeah, look at all the Metadevs. They're literally just slightly more unique versions of the OG skin.
It's like if they discovered legendary armor and put it on. That's what they look like.
Yeah, they're like, there's
maybe not legendary. Like, it's like they upgraded from like common up to rare, maybe.
Yeah, it's like the holographic version.
Oh, that's a good explanation of it. I think that takes us to the end of news. Oh, I did want to mention, I think it's probably still available for pre-order. They're coming out on Monday, but the Yeti.com is dropping some more Brawlhalla merch. They're bringing back 2 of their old shirts, a new shirt, which is really cool. I've already pre-ordered it, and 2 pins. So if you like pins like I do, buy those. And you get a Yeti Taro skin with each purchase.
Ooh.
So be on the lookout, because I'll have 3 codes and I only need 1. We might have a giveaway.
So you have got me here with this monkey's paw topic.
Paw. So for those that don't know, the monkey's paw.
This man just Googled the definition of a monkey's paw.
No, I wanted to know who it was by. It's W.W. Jacobs. It was a short story originally published in 1902. So I can't recall what the... I know what the premise is. I can't recall the exact details of it.
Well, actually, I specifically remember. Monkey's paw is... it's just literally like a decrepit, like petrified monkey's paw that can grant wishes, right? It's just like a genie's lamp. But the specific thing with the monkey's paw is, like a genie doesn't come out and like talk to you and have a cool little personality. You just make the wish and it happens. Well, with the monkey's paw, there's always a very drastic bad thing. So in the monkey's paw story, it's a husband and wife whose son just died. They just found out their son died in a like a work-related incident, like his body got all mangled up in machinery or something like that. She wishes for her son to come back. Well, he does, and then there's a very mangled zombie corpse trying to get into their house.
You have some really good details on this.
My dad used to tell it to me all the time when I was a kid.
All right. So I was going to explain something like that, but not to that detail, so I appreciate that. So what we've done is we've come up with 3 buffs for mains or characters we like to play that we wish they had, and the other person came up with 3 nerfs, or 1 nerf per each legend, that would take the place if that buff was granted. So, you want to do a 1 and 1, or you want to roll through mine and then roll through yours?
We'll do 1 and 1.
All right. So, my first buff that I wish for was on Yumiko, and I want increased active frames on bow and hammer D-Sig, which are both of her wisp attacks. So the 3 wisps on the ground and the 3 wisps on the arch.
So I saw this and I was like, how do I make this not a good thing? So Yumiko's wisps are now decreased in size.
They're even smaller.
Yep, they're even smaller. They're twice as small as they usually are.
You mean they're half the size?
Yeah, half the size. It's been a long day, buddy. Packing stuff up.
I'm totally
day.
gonna start referring to things the opposite of the way I should.
Shut up.
It's half as small as.
It's half as small. There we go. So, I think the way we should do this is now you answer if you would take this buff knowing that nerf comes.
So it's still 3 wisps and on each of them, and the only difference is they're smaller, but they stay out longer.
Correct.
Because I don't have the game pulled up and can't like measure it out. Can someone fit between the wisps on the hammer? And I don't think they could, but maybe.
Currently, I don't think you can, but in this instance, now just a very specific sliver of area.
Like it's got to be frame perfect.
Yeah, it's got to be frame perfect.
Yeah, I would take it then. I would take it, absolutely. Okay. I think that would make her like just much more interesting to play. And I'm not saying like they stay out there for like 3 seconds. You know, maybe they stay out there for 2 seconds instead of the 1 second or so that they stay out. I don't know the exact amount, but yeah, I would take that one. So before we get to yours, I want to say you and I took 2 very different approaches to this and how we buffed characters, and I thought it was very interesting, and we can talk about that later. But your first one.
I changed characters. You changed like frame data and stuff.
It showed what was important to us. Correct. I think. So go ahead with your first one.
So my first one is Petra base defense goes from 4 to 6. Reason being is, gosh, she hits like a truck, and most of the time I can hang with just about any legend. But whenever I run up to, 10 strength Zol or a Taros, just other high strength characters, she just gets smacked around and dies so quickly.
10 strength Zol is going to smack around anyone except a Magyar, basically.
Yeah. Which, I mean, you can do a 9 strength Petra, but it brings her defense down to 3.
Right. So, I thought this was a really strong buff, and as such, there's 2 slight, one major nerf and 1 slight nerf that I think balances it out. So, lower strength from 8 to 7. So you're losing 1. And
I'm taking that all day.
Lower speed. Well, these are like one and the same. Because you can't just gain 2 stats, right? You have to lose 2 stats. Yeah. So you lose 1 strength and you lose 1 speed. And then the other part of the nerf is slightly less knockback on Gauntlet neutral sig. So it would take slightly higher health to KO with it.
I'm alright with that.
Yeah, because
I would take that. That is a perfectly reasonable nerf.
Because I was looking at her stats, and I'm like, you're never going to take Dex stance on Petra, so you're never going to drop strength by 1 anyways, naturally. So I think taking the strength down to 7 and the speed down to 5? I think that's a fair trade.
Yeah.
These aren't. I wanted to keep these kind of like plausible nerfs and buffs, like fair trades, not complete like, your character just completely sucks now. So
I apologize for what you're about to get yourself into. Then,
all right.
You and I had 2 totally different interpretations.
Well, you didn't make Yumiko that bad. That's why I thought we were on the same page. But
just wait.
I got one that will maybe be bad. But my second one, Lin Fei, increased hitbox on cannon insig, the kind of uppercut attack. And if you went off, you think it needs to happen?
Yeah,
I agree wholeheartedly. All right, how'd you screw up Lin Fei?
Lin Fei base strength drops from 3 to 2. So if you play defense stance, you're gonna have 1 strength.
There's no character with a natural 2 stat, right?
I don't think so.
No, I don't think so either. Okay, so it's completely unreasonable. But is that a fair trade? Given that her strength already is low, and let me see. So strength stance takes away from dex. So if I take strength, my dex goes from 8 to 7, which puts me back to her natural 3. Is the cannon buff worth that? So I don't think so, actually. I don't think I'm going to take it.
Okay.
Because
that's fair.
So I play with 9 decks. I play with 9 decks on Lin Fei because it makes one of her guitar strings true. Nine decks will make I think it's side light, neutral light true. I think that's what it is. It makes one of them true, and I don't want to give that up just to get my strength back.
All right.
But man, that buff needs to happen to the cannon regardless.
It really does.
I was looking at
signatures. The hitbox is so small.
The hitbox is small. She's low strength, so it doesn't do much damage. Compare it to Fate's neutral sig on Orb.
Oh my goodness.
Which hits like a truck. Now she has double the strength, but it's got a bigger hitbox. It hits higher. Like Lin Fei does a little bunny hop when she does this neutral sig, whereas Fate is like Air Jordan up in the air, just smacking fools, man.
That's one of the best feeling signatures to hit in this game.
That one,
so good.
That one and Petra's Gauntlet and Sig. I think Fate's is slightly more satisfying to hit, but
yeah, I agree.
You know what other one's kind of satisfying, but I always feel dirty hitting it is Zol's Axe Neutral Sig.
Yeah.
Just the way he swings that hammer with ill intention.
And Azoth's side sig, it's like fast like Artemis's side sig. I don't think it's as good because it takes some time to get used to, which leads into Azoth, larger hitbox. Hitbox activates earlier for the X side sig, which is where he just lunges at you real hard.
So you want it both bigger and because he dashes forward, he floats forward a little bit. And it's really not active till like the last, I don't know, maybe 30% of the signature, right?
Yeah.
The last third of the signature.
Let's gotta get that yawn out. I'm gonna take off the larger hitbox part because that's kind of 2 buffs, but just activates earlier. So for example, if you swing, it's very easy to just not connect and go past the character.
Right,
then, as soon as the signature's done, your feet are literally touching. You just it's like nothing personal, kid. You teleported behind him. But unfortunately,
Reno's side sigs are kind of the same way. So I get what you're saying there. Okay, so I had it planned out that both of those were happening. So
all right, we'll keep it both in.
So I'm gonna give you slower startup so that. You know how he floats back a little bit?
Yeah.
It takes a little bit longer for him to get back. Or maybe he floats further back. I don't know, something like that. Let's just say it's slower. So he floats back a little bit slower, like a longer windup. And then on the back end, because he gets a nice large hitbox out of it, we're going to give a slightly longer recovery. So it's slower on both ends. But it's faster and... It hits bigger in the middle, which I think fits Azoth's character more.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any reason Azoth needs a signature that hits ridiculous fast.
I'll take it. I'll take it.
I figured as much.
Because I love that signature because I'm really good at hitting people with it off stage.
On stage, it's hard.
On stage it's a lot harder. Off stage is really good because you can time it. Where it's a signature where you'll miss if they're too close. People are trying to stay away from you whenever they're off stage.
Right.
They see a signature coming, they're gonna pause or maybe dodge up a little bit, but you have a higher chance of hitting it because it's mostly that edge of the signature is what you're hitting people with.
Well, if you whiff off stage with it, you can just turn around in recovery, and you're probably going to hit them.
Yeah, absolutely. Oof, gosh, I love Azov.
You just love disgusting axe and bow.
Azov.
Okay, my third and final one, Reno, since I've been playing a lot of Reno lately, and haven't found a lot of use for this signature. It's okay off stage, but it's kind of a weird one. His orb D-Sig, I want lower recovery on the D-Sig so I can act out of it faster. That's the one where he jumps in the arch. It's kind of like Ada's, where she like shoots, but it's way smaller. So he jumps in the arch and like shoots the orb in a diagonal like laser beam.
Yeah, shoots like the laser beam down.
Yeah.
The only thing I could think of with that... Oh, I got another yawn. You're welcome, audio listeners. I just increased the startup frames for the animation, so it charges up a little bit more. Comes out a little slower.
Yeah.
Which I feel hurts something like that because that's a very reactive... you catch somebody off stage, you want to be quick and try to edge guard with it.
Yeah, here's the thing: is it's kind of hard to edge guard with if they're hugging the wall because of the angle that it goes at. Like I've tried like reverse de-sigging off the map, and it's still hard to hit.
Like you have to hit them while they're jumping. Like you have to predict.
Right. You can't wait till they get to the wall.
Yeah.
I think for using it more in a neutral manner on stage, the decreased recovery would help because I could like jump out of it and throw out a down air with the orb or something like that. So I would probably take that because typically when I throw it out, I'm not at risk of getting hit on the startup. It's the end that I'm at risk of getting hit at because I'm moving towards them.
Okay.
So I would take that one.
Okay.
All right, this one was a fat buff for you.
Big old fat buff. So I love playing Hattori, but I don't play her as much. She's one that I'm good with in 1v1s because she just applies so much pressure and she's so fast. Because she's got 8 speed normally, and her base 8 speed. You can just get up in people's faces, and yeah, you have to hit them a lot more because she's got 4 strength. But you can get away with that in 1v1s, or at least I can. But in 2v2s, you see people play Hattori more in 2v2s, and whenever I try to do it, I just get smacked around. I take so much damage, and I do nothing. No damage. So, I was thinking base strength from 4 to 6, and then her side sig on sword be completely changed. Third time's the charm with these yawns.
Don't worry, we're wrapping it up soon, old man.
But it's because I don't have not a sponsor, Voodoo Ranger with me tonight. So it's going to be a charging, like a rampage type signature, like imagine Zol's side sigs where he just runs at you. Something like that with her sword.
So
instead of her little, like she just kind of like dashes forward, like it's kind of a small signature.
Yeah.
I feel like it's one that suffers from being one of the original legends.
There's a couple of those that I'm like,
yeah.
I feel like they need to revamp it just slightly to give it more utility.
Yeah.
I was thinking that with some of like Cassidy's, but so you want the side sig to like be able to, for her to be able to run. So like cover, say, I don't know, half to 3/4 of the map or something like that. Like a Suri's distance.
Yes, that's perfect.
Okay, do you want it to be like a Suri's where you can run through them, or Zol's where it stops when it makes contact?
Stops when it makes contact.
Okay. And that's the one that hits backwards, right? She hits them the opposite direction that she's running. Okay, so being that move will give her more utility, I want to decrease her base speed from 8 to 6.
Oh my god.
Which still makes her 2 speed faster than Zol, and as fast as a Suri. So she would still like kind of move how a Suri does almost. And then the Spear D-Sig, that Cloud one, that has that random big hitbox at the beginning, it loses that big hitbox in the Cloud, but the overall move is faster. So, you instead of using it to just cover big ground, you would use it more as an attack, as opposed to like almost a parry is, I feel like, how most people use it. So you do get a little buff from that.
I thought, yeah, I like that a lot. I'm definitely taking it. I was afraid you were going to say, when you brought up the down signature on Spear, that it was going to be, it takes away that little, like, you know how, like, if you're not in the Cloud, but you're out of the Cloud, when she stabs her spear out a little bit, you can still get poked with it. I thought you were going to take that away, and I was like, oh, no.
Take away the poke?
Yeah, the little poke.
No. That's the part you're going to keep. So it's going to have a relatively small hitbox, but it's going to be pretty fast.
All right, I'm taking it.
What if this would be cool? And so you're gonna take that buff. So we took all the buffs. Or wait, I didn't take Lin Phase. So all right, Monkey's Paw wasn't too bad, but I had this thought with Hattori's D-Sig on Spear. Check this out. So what if it keeps the Cloud, loses the hitbox, loses both hitboxes, loses the big one and loses the little poke. But in the signature, there's a hitbox the size of her hurt box, and she can move left to right in the Cloud like Mako can with her Qatar down sig.
Ooh, that's kind of cool.
So it's like throw up a cloud of smoke and like I'll hit you if I touch you. That would be cool.
That's pretty cool. Ooh, you know what'd be really cool? So you know how Yumiko is a very unique legend because she throws out those wisps?
Oh, I'm well aware.
It's a signature that you throw out and then you can run away from it.
Yeah.
And people can still get hit with it. What if there was one, doesn't necessarily have to be a Hattori, it could be a new legend, and they have a signature that doesn't necessarily do damage, but they throw a smoke bomb that covers, let's say, from 1/4 of the map, maybe 1/3 of the map is how big the Cloud is. Person playing that legend can see red outlines of where they are and the opponent is inside the Cloud. The opponent, when they enter the Cloud, they can't see where they are. Like, you know the game mode where you're like invisible unless you attack?
Yeah.
Phantom something? Kind of like that. Like, anything that enters the Cloud, opponents can't see where it is. Does that make sense?
Yeah. No, it makes sense. It would actually kind of work because Brawlhalla is played almost exclusively online, whereas like that wouldn't work if you were playing on the couch against someone.
Yeah.
I like the idea of it. Maybe not that specific example or something that like that big, but I want to see more utility signatures.
Yeah, like a smoke bomb. Or it doesn't have to be a smoke bomb, but something that like you get slowed down, or like it sticks you in place for just a moment if you get hit with it, like a sticky bomb of like
some
a
sort.
Stun.
Yeah, something with utility would be so cool, man. That's why I love Yumiko, is because the D-Sigs are so different than any other, pretty much any other signature. I can't think of anyone else's that kind of do that. I guess Zol's does with the traps a little bit. But those still are attacks.
Yeah.
Anyways, we've been going.
We are setting at about 55 minutes.
55 minutes. That's a little longer than I wanted to go. But hey, it's our first time back. We had to get
we had a lot to
rust off the wheels. Lots to talk about. Hopefully we can get back to a bi-weekly schedule now that we've dusted off our losses at Fall Championship and work's winding down for me. So I should be more available. So anyways, thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Gravity Cancel podcast. We're getting pretty close to wrapping up Showdown. So One or
We've got a
both of us.
big episode coming soon. And I say it like that because I have spent a lot of time editing it. It's still not finished. I'm also not the only person editing it. So there's a little sneak peek of a surprise for you.
Whoa, okay.
Yeah.
This is something I don't even know about.
And it's also multiple weeks crammed into one, so we can do a little bit of catch-up. We sat down and played about three or four maybe.
Are you putting all those in the
Showdown
same
back.
episode?
Not all of them.
Oh.
But it is... You'll see. You will enjoy it.
So we're not... Just how many episodes are we going to get out of the 3 we recorded?
Oh, you'll see.
Okay. All right.
Don't
Well,
worry.
I'll see with everyone
It'll
else.
be labeled that it's different weeks.
Gotcha. Okay.
Don't you worry.
All right. So tune in for that, because then probably a month or so, maybe right around the new year, we'll be dishing out some cash to some charities, one or both of us. So thanks for tuning in to another great episode, and we'll catch you next time.
Peace.
Peace.